Hi, thanks for joining me today if you're a new visitor, and welcome back if you're an existing subscriber. Today got an interesting subject to talk about, PROCON-Connect. So this is PROCON-Connect relating to Modbus TCP. Hopefully you've already watched my introductory video to PROCON-Connect explaining some of the capabilities of PROCON-Connect, and then I'll be doing individual videos relating to the different elements of PROCON-Connect. So this is purely for Modbus TCP. The first thing we need to do is open up the browser, the web server of the controllers or gateway. So let me do that now. Okay, so here I'm looking at the internal web server of a Weidmuller M3000 high-end controller. So the first thing you need to do is install the app called Weidmuller PROCON-Connect. I've already got it installed. To install it, you go to the US Control Center, go to Apps, go to App Manager, and then Install Apps. And then you'll be presented with a list of apps to install, and that's the one you want. That's the only one we're interested in at this point in time. And as of March the 3rd, 2025, that's the version we're using. Okay, so once it's up and running, you can either click on it and open it from here, or if I go back to the home page, we can also click on it from here. It takes you to the same place. First thing you need to do is log in, and it does actually say default password is PROCON. I don't think at this point in time you can actually change it. Okay, and now you see various elements of PROCON-Connect. I would say the first thing you need to do is set up the telemetry for Modbus comms. So if you go into telemetry, you need to configure the driver before you can configure any tags. So let me go to driver, and you'll see here, this is very important. What it's saying is service is not licensed on any of these driver configurations, and that's because I don't actually have any licenses. Yes, PROCON-Connect needs licenses. If you don't have a license, it will run in a demo mode, and I think it's something like 30 minutes before the license expires. So basically what I need to do is power down my controller and reboot it. So let me do that now. Okay, as usual with this controller, it's a soft PLC really, because it's a Linux based operating system running Codesys on top, or UOS on top. So as you can see, my controller is just rebooting. This is about 2 minutes after power up. So if I go to US Control Center, go to Apps, and you'll see them as they load. So this again might take a minute or two, so I think I'll pause the video until they reappear. Okay, so it's taken approximately another 2 minutes for all of the apps to restore. As I say, the only one you're really concerned about using at the moment is PROCON-Connect. Open PROCON-Connect, open again, and the first step is to log in, and it's PROCON. It's the default password as it says here. First thing you need to do, I would suggest, is create a project. So you have a default project, but you might want to go here and go open projects, new project, give it a name, create, and then you want to right click on it and say load, and make that my working project. So you can have multiple projects you can switch between. Okay, so then we need to go to telemetry, go to driver configuration, and this is where we're going to configure the Modbus TCP. So as you can see now, all of the PLC driver services are running. So these are all methods of communicating to a PLC, or actually it could be a meter, could be remote I/O, could be various devices, and it's a two-way street. You can read and write to the device, and you can route through one device and talk to the other. But all I'm going to do here is set up a Modbus device. All the services are running, and I had to reboot the PC for that to come true. So I'll go to driver configuration, Modbus, new connection, give it a name, I have a board with some equipment on, so I give it a meaningful name. Type in the local host address. So I'm actually communicating to a Weidmuller U remote product, and the unit ID is 255, which basically means it's a true Ethernet Modbus TCP device. It's not like routing through a gateway. If you're routing through to, say, an energy meter, you might have an IP address for a gateway, and then you'll have the Modbus address for the slave meter, and that would be the slave address. But if it's a true Ethernet device, it's Modbus TCP device, it's 255. My device is a generic Modbus device, but just to show you here, these are various types of energy meters. So if you Google these, you'll find that they're energy meters, and there's different manufacturers' products. Weidmuller, we've got our own energy meters, Siemens, Schneider, etc., etc. Okay, but mine's a generic device. I don't need to do any of this byte swap, word swap, etc. So I can go save. That's creating that. And the connection is now created. And if you notice, it says 0 tags referenced. So if we did need to make a modification here, we can go to edit. But I think everything's okay there, so I can cancel out of that. So we've got the device configured. We now need to go into tags. So click here, add a tag, and I'm going to give it a name, integer 0, and it's a numeric value because it's an integer. I'm not using any subtype, and the important thing is Merker is German for like internal tag. It's not an internal tag, it's a Modbus tag. So we pick Modbus under there. It's bidirectional, and then the connection is the one we've just created, or whatever you've just created. And then I want to read holding registers. So you've got all of these Modbus function codes. So I want to read holding registers. Okay. So I'm going to put some maximum values in here, because the value I'm going to read is going to be more than 10, so you have to allow for what the maximum value is you're going to see in that integer variable. Okay, and then change that to int 16 because it's a 16-bit integer I'm reading, and then the address. So I'm going to read address 0, and I'm going to read one integer, so array size 1. Array size 1, reading from integer 0. Save that, maybe do a refresh. There. So notice I had to do a refresh for it to read. But there's the name, it's a numeric type, that's the connection, it's Modbus, and I'm actually reading the value. So if I get a screwdriver and I disconnect one of the wires there, you should see that value change. So let me try that. So I'm actually reading a 16-bit digital input card. So if I disconnect the first input, you'll see the value is now 896. And if I reinsert the wire, it's now gone back to 897. So we're reading live values. So I'm happy with that. Okay, so that is the basics of Modbus TCP reading data using PROCON-Connect. In reality, you could have done this using Node-RED, for example, or you could have done it in UOS code, but this is just another method, and the idea is it's a more simplistic way of doing it. So what I will do is create another video, MQTT comms, and I'm going to publish the value from this Modbus connection to an MQT cloud-based. So hopefully that's give you an insight to how simplistic it is to set up Modbus TCP comms within PROCON-Connect. Thanks for watching.